And yes, of course, give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life. Let me ask you now, who really out there is giving thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life? Who amongst us is giving eyes to Yahweh, Haile Selassie, the power and might of the Holy Trinity? We're not talking about lip service now. We're talking about the reality of glorifying Negus and Aga, not just in talk. It's called sayings and doings. Once again, give thanks to your presence, guys. Of course, you know this is another shock of the hour. This is a program that comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at this time, at this hour. And of course, your humble host, the Honorable Priest Isaac here. This is the Mystic Vibrations, a shock of the hour, and you are with us right here in the Tiger's Nest. And as usual, we definitely have a wonderful and a full program for you this evening. I just want to touch upon some information just coming to hand, at least a couple of days ago. Directly related to the words of the Archbishop of Canterbury. I'm sure by now many of you would have already heard the word sound that the Archbishop of Canterbury is saying that, listen man, you need to take down these statues that you have of the, well, according to him, of Jesus, really. The statues that you have of Christ and the pictures that you have of Christ in the churches, and these statues that you have in the churchyards and in the churches too, you got to take them down because they're racist. In fact, I think the Archbishop is saying that Jesus was a man from the Middle East. You know, they're not going to say that he's black, but from the Middle East, you know, so he should at least be somewhat of a Arab-looking sort of, you know, something like that, but definitely not a Caucasian. I guess that's the argument that the Archbishop is touching upon. But hey, listen, we're going to go into that right now. I'm not going to even waste any time on that. Let me just remind you, of course, this is the Shock of the Hour program that comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Again, this is the exclusive program that takes you to the upper levels, the executive lounge. That's where you come when you come and dine with us. You definitely dining with the executives when we bring different levels of information and inspiration and documentaries and interviews and whatever have you. You get it right here on the Shock of the Hour, this radio program, again, that comes to you every evening. And let me just say, if you are listening to the Shock of the Hour, or even if we took one of our programs and we placed it on the internet, Facebook, YouTube, whatever else have you, you could definitely subscribe to this program here. And you wouldn't have to wait to see which program comes out on the internet. It's a program that will come to you every single day. You'll get it in your inbox via the email, via the Gmail. You will get the program coming straight to you in audio form, and you could full enjoy it at your leisure. And of course, you'll definitely save it in your own library. So you'll have our nightly programs, the Shock of the Hour, just coming to you, different topics, different levels of information, different levels of inspiration. You should definitely join the subscription team. It's only $50 a month to become a member of the subscription team. And just all you have to do is just contemplate and meditate. I mean, over 16 hours, man, every month, worth of information, knowledge, and different discussions and different heights, and you know what may be happening right about now, which is what we will be talking about tonight. But you know our more favorite topics is when we go into the stellar zone, is when we go into our history, our ancient African history and our heritage, is when we go into the anatomy, is when we talk about the Akashic world, anything of the mystic vibes and the esoteric levels and the Gnostic levels and the scriptures and prophecies and understanding geoscience. You know, we live and bask in that all day long and in the night too. That is the mystic vibration. So yeah, that is what it's all about. If you want to become a part of the subscription team, all you have to do is email us, priestisaac27@gmail.com, priestisaac27@gmail.com, and for sure we will give you all the information that you need. And let me just give you a little secret here. If you want to subscribe to the monthly shock of the hour, I ain't got no problem with that. But I could tell you for sure, as you would know, that we have a brand new book, which is the Heavens Declare the Glory, Rastafari and the Cosmos. The Heavens Declare the Glory, Rastafari and the Cosmos. And when you take the special package, which is still on, by the way, and you take that book, the Rastafari and the Cosmos, which is the Heavens Declare the Glory, along with the true biblical land of Israel, I'm sure you've heard me harp about that already, and the book Anu, Ancient and Modern, that bundle there goes for only $50. And you actually get a month's worth of the shock of the hour free after that, a month's worth. So, you know, you can balance that $50 any which way you want, but for sure, any which way you want, you'll be still getting the benefit thereof. So yeah, let us get into the subject area this evening. But before we touch upon it, so we'll be talking about, if you want to say, the color of Christ, or in this case, well, the bishop specifies Jesus, and we'll break that down when we get there. But we know exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about the Messiah figure that is spoken of in the Bible. And the Archbishop of the Anglican Church is saying that we should pull down these statues. Why? Because they don't look good. Yeah.
The way I and I be raised today, joyful, joyful, so much toil and neighbor day, hey, yeah. Jaja show I and I, Rasta all members of family, Jah keep all the eye all the way.
I don't know how many of you are familiar with this. It's called No Blanco. It's Espanol. No white. Jesus.
Pinocchio up Geppetto, Sereno as your nose grow. Jesus no blanco, freshest east breeze I got blow away yo. When the lion reach the equator, surely it's the Lion of Judah. In them struggle for life, them devour space and them change law. To the utter disfigurement, dismemberment and disregard of nature. On them and a must is a detrimental order. Is a detrimental order. Yeah. Ra, this a one now sticking on your car. Take out of the church you impose that. Once they do good, all the days them spend your work and peace after. The way I and I be raised today, joyful, joyful, so much toil and neighbor day, hey, yeah. Jaja show I and I, Rasta all members of family, Jah keep all the eye all the way. Oh, spending time, regards I lay, can barely see results, productive living way, itals of pulse, extension on track, one go in a hit not day. One go in a hit not day.
Check it.
Pinocchio up Geppetto, Sereno as your nose go. Hey, Jesus no blanco, freshest east breeze I got blow away yo. When the lion reach the equator, surely it's the Lion of Judah. In them struggle for life, them devour space and them change law. To the utter disfigurement, dismemberment and disregard of nature. On them and a must is a detrimental order. Is a detrimental order. Yeah. Right. This is one you're sticking on your car. Take out of the church you imposter. Earth ones we do good. All the days them spend your work and peace after. The elements of wrong will always be ya. Find them with the IRA. Yeah. Level all things to respect Rasta. Hey. All the days, yeah. All the days, yeah. Selassie I job. Yo. All the days, yeah. All the days, yeah. Selassie I jump. Yeah. Pinocchio up jump pedo. Sereno as your nose grow. Jesus no blanco. Precious east breeze I got blow away, yo. When the lion reach the equator, surely it's the lion of Judah. In them struggle for life, them devour space and them change the natural order. And them change everything in the natural order. To the utter disregard and dismemberment and disfigurement. The utter disregard of nature. Burn them and a must. Them is a detrimental order. Them is a detrimental order. This is one you're sticking on your garage. Take out of the church your imposter. Earth bonds they do good. All the days them spend ya work and peace after. Yeah, hey. The elements of wrong will always there. Bind them with the IRA. Yeah, we know to level all things to respect Rasta. All the days, yeah. All the days, yeah. Selassie I jump. Deep brown of bamboo flaco. Chalawa, water sound of timbrelo. Heavens no drop video, no be below. And the colossal of a gigantic ego is only the light of a slang lingua. To just be true, come on buddy are you too. Black man, family to meet a view.
Our guest today on this press is His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie
the just shall live by way.
The Emperor is a direct descendant between Solomon and the Queen of Sheba.
The thought that caused same time the molecular change in the brain. Much better good along the way, yeah. Pinocchio of Geppetto. Sereno as your nose go. Jesus no blanco. Precious east breeze I got blow away, yo. When the lion reach the equator, surely it's the lion of Judah. This is one you're sticking on your
and I must say that I never had a discussion with the good brother Vaughn Benjamin as it relates to that whole science there with the Pinocchio, but obviously knowing him and knowing him personally, I would understand that he would have to have foreseen what he's saying there, and it's not just by chance, because Pinocchio is definitely seen as a Christ figure in that occult sort of esoteric expression. And this is why, as he mentioned there, Pinocchio, Geppetto and all of that, because Geppetto is Joseph really. And Geppetto, which is Pinocchio's father, if you understand the story, even before Walt Disney got his hands on it, you understand that Geppetto was more than just a puppet maker. Geppetto was almost seen like a god figure in that whole story of the fairy world and the real world and all of these different things. And he would have created all the different fairy tales and Red Riding Hood and all of these things were supposedly his construct. Geppetto I talking about it. And so this Geppetto who made these different fairies using the wood from his magical forests. And he created the great Pinocchio, who eventually became a real boy. You watch Pinocchio good, how he come back to life when the fairy come and touch him. It's the same thing that you see in all of these cartoons, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, the dead and come back to life. It's the science of the Christ figure, dying and come back to life. It's esoteric understanding. It's masonry and occultism that has, concretized itself in what is known as religion, and people believe it and think that's life and that's what it's all about. But of course, there's deep understanding to it, else we wouldn't even be talking about it. There's something about it that has a truth. That's why you see the movements of the heavens. We always refer to that. And it is from the movements of the heavens a lot of these concepts were taken. The sun sets, it dies every day, and the place gets dark, and then in the morning it rises up and the birds rejoice. Is that whole cycle, that symbol that is played out in your theology and in your history too, because the essence of that is real. It will manifest itself in reality. But some of us, we're so quick to see it manifest in reality that we make up a story and say, well, this is how it goes. And that's not so, So Geppetto, just like the Joseph, is a carpenter or a woodsman. That's the real term, the woodsman. If you remember when we broke down the Red Riding Hood cartoon, go to our YouTube channel and visit it. When Hoodwink, the woodsman, we broke all of that down so you could have good comprehension of what it is. So Geppetto built that Pinocchio figure, that who became a real boy. He had a forest of trees. You know that story, and it was said that Pinocchio was not to go and touch none of the trees, but yet still he went and played with the trees. And he was banished from the garden. Sounds familiar? Again, another Christ figure, Adam. And some may argue and say, oh, how dare you say Adam is Christ? Well, listen, I'm just going off of the script. Even Christ said he was the second Adam. But the point I'm making, not to get religious, is that within the Pinocchio story, in the Geppetto, there is that science of, and both of them are one. And then when they go into Walt Disney's cartoon, now you have to bring in Captain Hook and Mr. Spock, and the thing gets deeper. But hey, don't worry, man. Fairy tale, folly days, and nursery crime, the execution is still coming. I know we set a few days and but that's how it is. When you have somebody to execute, every now and again you have what is known as a state of execution. How much time you hear they're supposed to hang somebody? And then they come out and say, there's a stay of execution, we're extending it to 3 more months. Yeah, man, we're giving them demons a little more time to shake in the boots. And then we come in for them. So give thanks for your presence with us, Jesus and now Blanco. And let me just get the information up now so I could read it to you. Once again, this is the Shock of the Hour program. Let me just pull it up here. Give me a second. Tiger with me. While I'm looking for that, also, let me just remind you that a few people have been asking concerning okay, here it is. Okay, so this is some information here. Yeah, a few people have been asking as it relates to the whole concept of the homeschool program that we have. Well, the homeschool program, some are wondering if it's too late to join in and all of that. The homeschool program, again, is continuous. Let me make that clear, as we offer the subject areas from K to the 2nd grade of astronomy and African history / heritage. So whenever you sign up for the homeschool program, that is exactly when it comes straight to you from beginning. And if this is the first time you're hearing of it, I really would not want to allot too much time to go into that. Again, you can even contact us via email, precisisac27@gmail.com, or you could just search our YouTube channel for information on the homeschool program, and it will come straight to you. So this one, we're taking this from The Guardian, theguardian.com, UK. And Justin Welby, that's how you pronounce his name, isn't it? The most very reverend, I don't know. Justin Welby. The Church of England should rethink portrayal of Jesus as white, Welby says. Archbishop says statues at Canterbury Cathedral would be under review. So, you know, he's the boss here, basically. So he's just telling you, well, this is how it's going to go. And nobody try to get in my way. So, says here, the Anglican Church should consider the way statues and other representation of Jesus portray him as white in the light of the Black Lives Matter protests, the Archbishop of Canterbury says. So, of course, we see that being linked directly to the whole situation with the Black Lives Matter. All right, so it's the trend now. It's the new trend, you know, it's the new style. It's like fashion now. Justin Welby also said that the church must look very carefully to see if they should all be there. In an interview on Friday, the head of the Church of England said the West in general needed to question the prevailing mindset that depicts Christ as a white man in traditional Christian imagery. Asked if they had to be rethink on the white image of Jesus, Welby said, yes, of course, it does. This sense that God was white. You go into churches around the world and you don't see a white Jesus. You see a Black Jesus, a Chinese Jesus, a Middle Eastern Jesus. Okay. Which is of course the most accurate. You see a Philippine Jesus. All right. That's interesting. You hear these comments? I wonder if you hear what they say. This reminds me of what the Archbishop of Ethiopia was saying. Remember, he was saying when you go to the Caribbean, you see a Caribbean Jesus. Now, I mean, I don't know what he's talking about. No disrespect to him. I'm talking about not this one here, in Ethiopia. You know, that's what the man said. You heard him when he was saying that the Christ figure was a white man. And listen, let me be clear here to you. Let me be clear. I don't like to play with words. I don't like to confuse the issue. You know, sometimes you have to overlook words and understand or overstand what is, underlook words and overstand what is being said. Not bother with the words as such, but words are still important. You know that. We talk of it all the time. Because the reason why I'm saying that is because in reality, Jesus is white. And then somebody who pick up exactly what I'm saying, but would like to get the conversation ironed out properly, would say, yeah, I know what you're talking about, Ras, but no, let's not confuse the issue. When they say Jesus, we know what they're talking about. We don't mean the one that Michelangelo painted, but that is Jesus. We don't mean the one that Constantine, you know what I mean, consented to, but that is Jesus. We don't mean the Serapis that the Ptolemy them put together, but that is Jesus. That is Jesus. This is why, you know, those of more ancient culture, even the Orthodox Christians, when they say Jesus, people argue that Iesous is although it is not authentic to the Ethiopian language. I'm not a linguist, but according to some argument, for example, the us. But the us, I mean, I've seen the us in the ancient language. Look at the word Negus. You know what I mean? Negus is the king. And then the Muslims who would refer to the Messiah as Isa. So you have Iesous, you have Isa, you have Yeshua. Yeah, some Hebrews who would say Yeshua. But then now, sometimes when it's unnecessary, I would hear the Muslims still saying Jesus. Muslims preaching to Muslims saying Jesus. It's not as if they're even having a conversation with someone outside of the understanding or comprehension of what they're dealing with. And they're trying to at least keep the conversation relevant and not lose them. And say, well, listen, man, the Jesus you're talking about and whatever, you know, just to carry it on and explain the conversation. Somewhat like what we're doing here. But to just boldly forget that you have a Isa and be talking about Jesus. To just boldly forget that you have a Yeshua and just be talking about Jesus. To just totally forget about the Iosos and be talking about Jesus. Word sound is power. Because none of these characters really, even in the historical sense, none of them is Jesus. Because some of them were born in a cave in Ethiopia. Some of them do have a real, literal father. Some of them have a wife and have children. Some of them have a different birthday than the 25th day of December. So the attributes of Jesus, not just the color, not just the hair texture, or the not if you don't want to use color, because people are very funny these days, not just the complexion of the skin, not just the texture of the hair, but the day he was born. Jesus' birthday and Yeshua birthday and them other people's birthday different. His marital status different. You know what I mean? His family life different. His understanding of his parental lineage is different. Where he born different than where the other ones were born. So it's different people. It's different people. So just to say Jesus is the English term, no, it's different people. They're totally different characters. They are as different as the pictures in all ways. So a Hebrew would be telling you about Yeshua, and what the Hebrew tell you? Well, listen, man, Joseph or Joseph was Yeshua's father. In fact, if you open the Bible, you see that the lineage came through Joseph to Yeshua. So you Christians got to get it right. Exactly, it's two different people. Yeshua and Jesus different. Yeshua have a father, Jesus ain't got no father. That's what I'm saying. Then the Isos Christus different again because he born somewhere else. He born in a cave in Ethiopia. Different people. Different birthday. You get what I'm saying? They talk different language and so. And somehow we bundling them all together and trying to attribute all of them to the character in the New Testament that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John talking about. It's good to study the esoterics, my family. Symbolism. You can see we deal with that highly. I don't care who don't like it. This is your business. You can keep yourself in your world, in your mentality, in the way you think. That is up to you. I have to say it so because some people, very strange. Very strange. Just don't catch what you're saying and for some reason, you know what I mean? Very strange. The esoterics, man. Reading between the lines. That's the deal right now, I'm telling you. So yeah, Jesus is really white. But still, it doesn't take away now from the conversation here. Because again, we all have this mutual understanding that we are talking about this character that is considered the Son of God or the great prophet or however the Al-Masih or however you would like to polish him out, you know. And this figure, which is considered a historical figure, time and space and everything. Let's be real now. This figure here, I mean, what nationality would he be? All right, let's read what the Archbishop is saying here now. Will be told the BBC Radio. So yeah, before I say all that, man. So there's so you see a black Jesus. Which part do you see that? I mean, I see it, you know, man. But that is nothing, no. Chinese Jesus, a Middle East Jesus. Man, Jesus is considered by the vast majority of the world. The vast majority of the world, where they have black people, where they have Chinese people, where they have Middle Eastern people, and everywhere else, the vast majority of the world that recognize Jesus, see Jesus as a Caucasian, European descent. Well, all them terms people have all kind of seen. People tell you black people is the real European. No, black people is the real everything. Eh? The first Chinese. You gotta be careful with this thing. But anyway, we'll be, and I mean, I understand the science. Of course, we inhabited these places even before the existence of any other so-called race. But we ain't running no race, eh? Where you gonna run? Where you done win already? We'll be told BBC Radio's for today's program. Jesus is portrayed in as many ways as there are cultures, languages, and understanding. And I don't think that throwing out everything we've got in the past is the way to do it. But I do think saying that's not the Jesus who exists. That's not who we worship. Wow. It is a reminder of the universality of the God who became fully human. All right. He said that the statues in Canterbury Cathedral would be under review on the back of the worldwide Black Lives Matter campaign to bring down monuments to controversial figures such as those engaged in the slave trade. So, all right. So let me go ahead and read a little more, then I talk. On the recent calls for statue removals, the Archbishop said people should forgive the trespasses of people immortalized in the form of statues rather than tearing them down. But he's saying we must tear down Jesus. Will be said, some names will have to change. I mean the church. Goodness me, you know, we just go around Canterbury Cathedral. There's monuments everywhere, or Westminster Abbey, and we're looking at all that, and some will have to come down. But yes, there can be forgiveness. I hope and pray as we come together, but only if there's justice. So Mr. Canterbury is saying here that, you know, some will have to come down, but I guess he's saying let's not tear them down. I guess that's what he's saying. And we should forgive their trespasses, you know, although some will have to come down. This is a very interesting argument coming from the bishop, because across the world, you have the statues coming down of some notorious killers. You have war generals that I grew up hearing to be heroes. Your general Custard, and your General Grant, and presidents coming down, you know, man. Presidents coming down in the United States of America. Woodrow Wilson, they're pulling down Woodrow Wilson's statue. What the fella did in England there. Even Churchill, the protesters defaming Churchill's statue as a racist. And of course, you know, Columbus, I think, was one of the first to go. And people that are beings that we were taught in some of our schools to be heroes, now all of a sudden they're coming down. Parliaments and governments are making official decisions and removing these people's name out of their books of records and all of these different things. And now, interestingly, all of these wicked killers, hear this, no man, people that have direct connection with the enslavement of our people, they're being taken down all over the world. And now Jesus has joined the gang.
So who will they be praising then?
And here who bring Jesus and throw him under the bus? The head of the Anglican Church, the only highest step you can go above that is Pope Francis, the head of the Anglican Church himself, come and say, here's the next one that has to come down. I hope the people understand this. And as I just said, Jesus is not just a color. It's a concept. It's a whole story. It's a theology. I mentioned Isus, I mentioned especially Isa and Yeshua. Jesus do some serious razzle dazzle. They say dead and come back alive. Some of these other ones never do nothing like that. So I'm telling you, you're dealing with different characters. So you check the Asar mystery and you check Heru, it's undeniable. It is undeniable. You read your scripture, you read your Bible. You see the same thing being played out in writings that are much older than that. Again, the Septuagint, which is supposedly translated from the Hebrew Torah. It sounds nice to believe that. But interestingly, where the Septuagint was translated from the Torah, the room that these 70 to 72 scholars from the Levant was locked up in for months was filled with scrolls. This is in Alexandria. This is in Kemet, the time of the Ptolemy. And the scrolls were taken from all these different temples in Kemet and packed up in the library of so-called Alexandria. And these scholars came down from the Levant in the Middle East to come into this room with all these scrolls. And they came out with a book called the Septuagint, which is supposedly the Greek version of the Old Testament. And those of us who can read the Old Testament and clearly show to you without anyone being able to refute our information that these stories have a very similar likeness to many of our ancient Kemetic theological expressions. You can't deny that. You cannot deny that. That's why I'm highlighting the Heru and the Christ figure. And I think most of us know by now there's a strong similarity there. So I'm saying the Septuagint came out of a room filled with scrolls that have a story similar to what's in the Septuagint. Well, I mean, I can't explain that, but it was translated from the Torah. All right. So where's that Torah now? Which one? The one that the Septuagint was translated from? I don't know. I don't know. Why are you asking me? Well, you're the one coming with all the facts. So somebody has to have it. I don't think they know where that is exactly. So where's the evidence? There's no evidence. You could be telling the truth, but there's no evidence. And they burned the scrolls. They burned the whole library. They even tried burn the walls, but that couldn't work. And the writings that were on the scrolls are still on the walls. Where's the Torah that the Septuagint was translated from? The oldest, most complete Hebrew Bible, the Leningrad Codex, pardon me, the Leningrad Codex is 1,000 years old. So the reality is, again, I know belief is very strong, but if you're in a court of reality, where's the evidence? You ain't got no evidence. I mean, we can't just believe with you. We got evidence on the wall of the Noah story in Nu. We explained that already. We're going too deep into that. We have evidence of the wall of the Asa story and the Heru story, and we take it and show you of the Heru, the lamb, the Heru, the lion, the Heru, the crucified, the Heru at 33, the Heru resurrected, the Heru making the blind see and the deaf hear. The full thing, it's there. It's there thousands of years ago. And even prior to that, it was expressed in Consul, from the south, up south, in the Kushite region. So we gone tens of thousands of years now. That's a long, long time. I'm just giving you the reality here. So them kind of conversation here is really watered down conversation. And we just entertaining what's going on. Talking about pulling down statue of Jesus now. Oh my, poor Jesus, God now. Eh? The Archbishop himself talking about bring a Saddam Hussein looking Jesus for us now. Here we want the Middle Eastern Jesus. Must want Ben Laden. You saying something, Chris?
I was saying, I wonder what the Christians would think about this.
Yeah, well, you see, this is what I'm saying, because when I was young, heaven was in the sky. I listen.
Hell was on
And hell was under the earth. No, all of a sudden, well, it don't matter. You can't make them get away with that just somehow. Okay, it don't matter. Fair enough. Which conference? What was the conference that you had where the council came to the decision that it doesn't matter? Because it was a big thing. People get locked up and stuff for this, eh? So let's get this straight. When did you amend the evil that was done for those who did not believe in your heaven in the sky and hell under the earth? So all of a sudden it doesn't matter. Even the color thing, it doesn't matter neither really, it doesn't matter, Yeah. I'm not gonna read no more of the Archbishop business. I think you get the vibes. I don't know how he and Zeus will work that one out, but that's their business. I don't know. So it's interesting, eh? Looking across the world, all of the symbols of white supremacy are coming down, and of course, one of the few lone voices, speaking for these monuments of greatness to stay up is, of course, the President of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump. So some people don't like when I call his name. I get them kind of email and say, no, don't call Donald Trump's name and call him number 45 and something. I ain't joining your bandwagon, brother. I think for myself. I don't follow people. What number 45? The man named Donald Trump. What are you trying to say? Don't get me. I'm not in the Hitler syndrome, You people on the Hitler syndrome. Hitler syndrome, like if Hitler worse than some of them people that talking about Hitler. I'm not on no Hitler syndrome. You check it. Yeah, I different. So what happened to George Bush and Ronald Reagan and all of them? To me, it's just a whole pile of the same. Whole pile of the same. They say President Obama, bombed more people in the Middle East than George Bush. That's facts that has been, well, I haven't read the facts, but I hear it over and over from the supposed, what do you call these, professionals? That's not the exact word I'm looking for, but yeah, not professionals. Anyway, I was looking for a word, those in the know. But them, yeah, they're the ones that keep saying that. Stick looking to the world, and it's sorry. So anyway, give thanks. I see our time is on us and we definitely have to make it out. So give thanks for your presence, my good brothers and sisters. It's a good pleasure. Of course, we will come again tomorrow evening as we delve in another subject area. I think we're going to actually, we will see, but I have in mind to continue that subject area of the Maria and take it to another level as it relates to the marijuana, and see how it fits in, because I did hint at it the first time. And of course, we'll be talking about the chalice and all of that. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for the shock of the hour, even on that level there. And I'm going to do what I don't usually do this, but I'm going to do it in this case here. I'm going to replay the app song for the moment. Yeah, we don't usually replay. We don't play things twice, and you know, too much music. Yeah, fresh thing. But this one is very apt, and of course, you know, Jesus no Blanco. Yeah, as we move on, I was almost meditating to dedicate this to the Archbishop of Canterbury. Yeah. Hey, if you know your Bible and you do not know your history,
the way I
knowledge of your Bible will become a
John,
mystery. And of course, it takes some realize that Jesus no Blanco.
All members of family, just keep all the eye all the way. Out spending time, regards highly, can barely see results. Productive living way, itals of pulse, extension on track. One go in a hit not day, one go in a hit not day. Bin up your object, jet better. Sereno as your nose go, hey. Jesus no Blanco, freshest east breeze I got blow away, yo. When the lion reach the equator, surely it's the Lion of Judah. In them struggle for life, them devour space and them change law. To the utter disfigurement, dismemberment and disregard of nature. On them and a must is a detrimental order. Is a detrimental order. Yeah. This is one you're sticking on your car. Take out of the church you imposter. Earth ones they do good. All the days them spend your work and peace after. The elements of wrong will always be ya. Find them with the IRA. Yeah. Level all things to respect Rasta. Hey. All the days, yeah. All the days, yeah. Selassie I Jah. Yo, all the days, yeah. All the days, yeah.
Yeah, the reality is, you know, that there is a Christ, but Jesus is the Antichrist.
Pinocchio up, Jambedo. Sereno as your nose go. The snow blanco, precious east breeze I got blow away, yo. When the lion reach the equator, surely it's the Lion of Judah. In them struggle for life, them devour space and them change the natural order. And them change everything in the natural order.
But they just full love for the idea, you know.
The utter disregard and dismemberment and disfigurement. The utter disregard of nature. Burn them and a must. Them is a detrimental order. Them is a detrimental order. This is one you're sticking on your car. Take out of the church your imposter. Earth ones they do good. All the days them spend ya work and peace after. Yeah, hey. The elements of wrong will always there. Bind them with the IRA. Yeah, we know for level all things to respect Rasta. All the days, yeah. All the days, yeah. Selassie and Jah. Deep brown and bamboo flower. Chalawa, water sound of timberlow. Heavens no drop video, no be below. And the colossal of a gigantic ego is only the light of a slang lingua. To just be true, come up with the you too. Black man, family to meet a view. No make no ancient stress come bro beat you. The just shall live by wait. I wait by works and faith. The thought that cause same time the molecular change in the brain. Much better good along the way, yeah. Pinocchio of Jambedo. Sereno as your nose go. Jesus no Blanco. Freshest east breeze I got blow away, yo. When the lion reach the equator, surely it's the Lion of Judah. This is one you're sticking on your car.